of bounty hunters, no Ray Lows, no Ray Nobodies, no sequel trilogy fans of any kind, no Adam Driver fans, no Ray the Bestest Ever fans, no SJWs. We are here full of Star Wars movies and to talk about culture and things like that. Anyway, so I did an upload today with that video of Bob Chapek. That video was part of the Reimagine Tomorrow video summit, I think, the one we've been talking about. So, what I think when you look at it, one of my subs said that Chapek looked robotic, and he did. He didn't want to be there. He don't want to say that. I've had other people, have a hissy fit about it and say, well, he did it and blah, 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 and I'm giving up, we'll give up. I can't do anything about it. You're not going to listen to me. You're not going to think about what you saw. Give up. Okay, just go and do it. Okay, that's it. I don't care. Go and do it. All right. Here's the thing. This thing happened 3 weeks ago. So we're into week 3. That video was posted yesterday or the day before. It was grabbed or leaked out there by Chris Rufo. Now, I'm going to tell you about Chris Rufo, and I did a little bit of that on the upload. He works for the City Journal. Now, I know some people at the City Journal, mostly Andrew Clavin, who's a great screenwriter himself, who's a great novelist, and kind of a cultural sort of musketeer for just making good stuff to watch. He's conservative. Okay. When I talk about conservatives in Hollywood, they can run the gamut of, Mel Gibson, sort of a quasi-libertarian kind of dude, or Vince Vaughn, libertarian, Kurt Russell. Or they can be like my friend Nick Searcy, they can be that kind of a person, Jim Caviezel, Gary Sinise, okay, conservative. These are the flavors of the right, okay, and they've always been. That is basically reflections of the right as it is outside of Hollywood. But we're talking about actors, we're talking about directors, we're talking about producers. City Journal is a conservative paper, journal that deals with current events and policies concerning urban issues. And it's a publication of the Manhattan Institute, which is a nonprofit based in New York City that deals with urban issues, okay, that kind of stuff, okay. And I saw that, I thought, okay, so I went and looked at the Board of Trustees. Now, this is why I'm looking at Christopher Rufo and thinking, you're just trying to stir up rage porn at this point. Not that we shouldn't have seen the video, but the person behind it didn't do it for all the right reasons. Now, he might be playing into Bob Chapek's hands. All right, let me tell you something. Bob Chapek has former Bush administration guys on his staff, okay? The newest lady he brought in actually worked for Obama. I mean, I go, and, okay, when Obama became president, I never saw anybody run to the middle so fast. That is off topic, and I'm not going to answer it. I've never seen anybody run to the middle so fast in my life. Just, all right. But the Manhattan Institute's got Bill Kristol working for him. And Bill Kristol, his father, Irving Kristol, who died like a few years ago, were leftist liberal Jews who supported Israel and realized that the hard American left weren't going to do that. So they embraced a sort of faux conservatism. Bush liked to call it compassionate conservatism, but it's not. It's basically a Nixonian liberal conservatism, which doesn't make any sense. But there you go. Richard Nixon was a liberal. Okay, he was not anything, and these people do stand opposed. They stood opposed to Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan only got like half of what he wanted done. He did not get to eliminate the Department of Education and some other things that he really wanted to get rid of that he felt were hurting the country. And I believe that if the Department of Education did not exist, we wouldn't have teachers being allowed or thinking or feeling that they were allowed to groom students. Okay. The Education Association and the Department of Education are very much the two-headed jackal in this situation of that. Bill Kristol supports all that stuff. Okay, Bill Kristol hates Donald Trump. Donald Trump is not a conservative. That might shock everybody. No, to the conservatives out there, Donald Trump is not pro-abortion. He is the only president, including your beloved W, to ever address the March for Life. He's also anti-gun control. He's been to every NRA convention that was on when he was president, okay? He addressed all of them in person, okay? So he's a populist, and there's a vast difference in the two things. In fact, I've actually cut off quite a few mad conservatives who have, they don't, look, the thing I don't like about Chris Rufo is that he's exactly like Sean Hannity, Bill Kristol, Glenn Beck, and a few others. They exist to make money off of rage porn, okay? That's why he posted that. He didn't post it to ask you, what do you think is going on here? Okay. When you look at the tweet he posted with it, he's got all the outrage words that you can think of to go along with it. He's basically our version of Nadine Smith. Okay? Don't need these people. All right? We're already dealing with left-wing extremists. Right-wing extremists need to let people in the middle, all right, and libertarians figure it out. Okay? We have to talk less about, got to think of a way to talk less about what it's really about and talk about why it hurts Disney's bottom line. Because, look, let me explain something. Al Capone didn't go to prison at Alcatraz for the St. Valentine's Day massacre. He went to Alcatraz because he cheated on his taxes. Okay, that's how they got him. They didn't get him for anything else. And everybody knew he was the one behind that, but they couldn't get him. So there you go. So now we've got this problem at Disney. Now, if you watch the video that Rufo posted, it would look like it was the introduction to the other one. And I think what he did was a drip, drip, drip thing. Basically, look, there are conservatives out there, and you see them in chats. They have channels that actually think they can take Disney down. What is the point of that? Because you're angry? Suddenly, you are the reason why we all need to stop and admire you. Okay, this is narcissism. And conservatives, my friends, are just as guilty of that as the lefties are, okay? And again, it's to get rage clicks. Hey, Raid Girl. How you doing? I think you're right too. I think you're right there. Um, so when you, like, I'll give you an example. Benny Arthur Johnson. If you ever watch one of his videos, he's so disingenuous. He doesn't care. He's trying to earn money. He has a family to feed. All right. He is a former Senate staffer. Okay. He doesn't know anything else but partisan politics. Okay. That's not going to work here. Look, again, the parents that are pissed off, like my friend Mike, have a good reason to be. All right. Let me explain. Everything that the people in that video that I uploaded a week ago said is what groomers say. What Victoria Alonso said to Bob Chapek is what she would have said to a police officer or a a lawyer or a prosecutor trying to explain why she did what she did. Don't we have the right to be free? What the fuck are you talking about? No one cares about your personal life, you freak. And this is the problem. So then we get people like Rufo who don't really care about fixing the problem. They're quite happy that the problem is there. Bob Chapek knows that. Okay, he has to know that. I think you'd have to be retarded, really retarded, not to know that. People on both sides, Alonzo and her cohorts, all 5 of them, created a shitstorm. And it's not about protecting their minority. It's about them and what they want. And they want to take over Disney, okay? And it's also just about them. Yay, look at me, okay? Hiding under the victimhood banner, okay? Then we get Christopher Rufo, Benny Arthur Johnson, Sean Hannity, who is not a victim. I mean, the guy cheated on his wife, okay? It just, Mr. Good Catholic boy, okay? Kind of a jackass. And we're stuck in the middle. Bob Chapek is stuck in the middle. Or is he? I want you to ask yourselves this question. Do you think the people, hey Troy. Oh yeah. I'm gonna ask you a question. Do you think that the people that were in the first part of the video, the ones that we first saw, LaToya Ravenel and Latondra Newton and the rest of that waste of humanity, wanted that video to come out? Let me explain something. They know what they sound like, which is why when you call them groomers, they fucking freak out because that's what they are. Okay? That's what they are. All right? You know they didn't want. So how did he get this video? Then we get the Bob Chapek thing. Now, I can almost hear Kamran Pasha say, he's looking weak here on purpose. First off, if you watch it, he's robotic. He's reading off a script, right? This is not a heartfelt apology. He doesn't give a crap about these people. I'm sure if he could figure out a way to fire them tomorrow, he would do it. He'd fire them right now. All right? He'd borrow the Nagin baseball bat from David Zaslav and beat the shit out of all of them. All right, if he could. But right now, he has to appear conciliatory. We're doing this, and we're going to make up a task force, and this is all bullshit. All right, look, part of being a CEO is being a politician. And I've seen presidents, live and in person, bullshit people. Yeah, you're right, Rave Girl. I've seen presidents lie. on camera about things. Presidents I voted for, not named Trump, by the way. All right? You know, and at the time, when you're thinking about national security, la-di-da, okay, fine. I don't care if he lied. But what else did he lie about? All right? You gotta start thinking about these things. Okay, so you're watching him, Bob Chapek. This is the most disingenuous thing I've ever seen in my life. It was basically what the memo was. He read it out loud. That's it. It's meaningless. Okay, these task forces are meaningless. This half-hearted lobbying. I mean, another, going after Texas. Texas doesn't give a fuck. Chapek knows that. Arizona doesn't either. These people have isolated themselves. They've made themselves known. And all right, look at Disney stock. It was up what, $135. 135 today. It was almost 150 before the before all this shit started. Okay. Now, who's to blame? Now, a moron, black pill, a lefty who doesn't agree with no comment would say it's Chapek's fault. Well, how is it? How is it? All right. He said no comment. That should have been the end of it. The people in that video, the whining, crying, the Latondra Newton, that bully bitch, okay? And yes, women like that are bullies. They are bullies, okay? Latoya Ravino, bullies. Victoria Alonso, bullies, okay? All right? They think they can do whatever the fuck they want, and nobody can stop them. Nobody can say, hey, now they've got a problem, and they're too stupid to understand. Because what they've done is they've made themselves the reason for all the bad stuff happening at Disney. Okay, we've got a trans girl playing somebody in Willow. I'm like, first off, I don't care about Willow. I think that show's already been done. Okay, I mean, they look, they've been talking. I think they filmed it already. So I mean, I'm not even sure. This is how uninterested I am in Willow. I don't know what the fuck it's even about. Okay, I only watched a movie once a long, long time ago. All right, I never had the desire to see it again. Okay, that's just me. I don't care. If it's something I don't care about, I'm not going to. Okay, so I'd have to look into it. I don't know if maybe someone can look it up, but I don't even know if they're filming or if they filmed it. I know Warwick Davis has been talking about it, but I don't know. But anyway, we're going to see shit like that, okay? Now, when stocks get down to $1, 120 a share, we might see more. But let's go for a second, because I love doing this. Let's check out the Wall Street Journal. Okay, now I read the article yesterday from the Wall Street Journal, and it was very interesting. So let's see this, because there's more. There's a lot more. Okay, there's a lot more, and it's very interesting to me about what's going on with Disney and all of that. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna put you here, and we're gonna bring this up. Okay, we'll do this. Let's see, Wall Street Journal. Okay. All right, now I'm in it right here. So let's go to home. All right, Disney, and search. All right, now here's another one. April 7th, so this came out yesterday. Or what is today? Yeah, yesterday. It was written by, and it's an opinion piece, but it's written by, I don't know, doesn't say. Gerard Baker hits the mark and Disney decides to go for woke. Free expression April 5th. The corporate brain trust running Disney is cutting off the hands that have fed them generously for 99 years. The children who flock to Disney movies and theme parks and wear costumes and princess dresses don't plunk down the money to do so. Their parents and grandparents do, and have done so to excess over the generation. Those parents are now being told what horrible, ignorant people they are, and that they need to butt out of raising their own children. We are grandparents. This is Terry and Diane Dempsey, Grayson, Georgia. We are grandparents who will now not be funding a trip to Disney World for our grandson. It's past time for the tiny tail to stop wagging the big dog. We are ashamed to be stockholders. Disney needs new management to get back to its own business of running the corporation. There was more to this, so let's go back and see if there's another. That was an opinion. And I think here's another one. Okay, not that one. But that was a letter to the editor. Okay, here you go. Don't say gay is popular, you don't say. One poll shows backing from the suburbs, parents, and Democrats. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, this is an old one, this week signed the educational legislation that opponents have dubbed the Don't Say Gay Law. It's the Parental Rights Act. It prohibits classroom instruction on sexual orientation or gender identity from kindergarten through the third grade. Polite opinion is almost unanimously against, but open your ears to the vox populi, the people, the public. When Americans are presented with the actual language of the new Florida law, it wins support by more than a 2-to-1 margin. That's from a new poll, Public Opinion Strategies. Overall, 61% said they supported the Don't Say Gay law, with 26 opposed. That's pretty much, there you go. Even more notable is the breadth of the sentiment. Democrat voters in the poll support the law 55 to 29%. And herein lies the problem, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, herein lies the problem. We've got Democrats out there who don't realize that they're not really wanted to do this anymore. Well, we've got Democrats realizing that the hard left and these, crazy, narcissistic, mentally ill people are ruining the party. Okay. And again, Bob Chapek is in the middle. Hi, Dave. So the question again is, how did Christopher Rufo, read his tweet when you look at it. I had a long talk with Cameron about it. Cameron said the guy is a conservative firebrand. I mean, that's what he does. He's stirring the shit. Okay. But when you watch the video, you realize there's something lacking there. And it's sincerity. It's authenticity. Okay. That's the thing that tells me that Chapek has got a lot up his sleeve. Okay. That's the thing that tells me that he might hit maybe a gun to his head. But then, of course, you got Gerard Baker. Who's, basically posted a mockery of Disney. And it's very interesting to me watching this. because I see the shareholders coming to the rescue. Okay, now that grandma who wrote that letter about what all this was and saying they weren't going to take their grandson to Disney World, and I really can't blame her, was right. The shareholders do need to get involved. Is it the management? Okay, somebody asked, where's Susan Arnold? She has not said a word. Okay, not a word. Okay, she's the ultimate boss. So I don't really understand what the strategy is for her to stay quiet. All right, now, the possibility is we could be wrong about her and she could be a woke bitch. But she worked for the Carlyle Group. She's very serious about making people money. And you can't be woke and be a serious financial person. All right, you can't. I mean, sooner or later, your strange ideology will catch up to you and you'll end up panhandling for nickels under the railroad tracks. Okay, that's just what's going to happen. And what I think is this shit will die down. Everybody will start paying attention to something else, and we'll start seeing people leave. Again, remember, and this after hearing WW Pro yesterday, it occurred to me, Carrie Hart was the head of the story group. She was the one, and he said basically she dictated to Ryan Johnson what TLJ was going to be. Now, I'm not sure if I buy that, but bear with me. TLJ did not come close to the goals it was supposed to make. Not even close. Word of mouth was they killed Luke Skywalker. They killed him body and soul. Okay. They ruined Leia. Okay. And people were pissed. Okay. She also was one of the producers for Solo. But when he talked about the parks, she was one of the people that spearheaded changing the parks from Star Wars to the sequel trilogy. In the summer of 2018, she left. Why? Iger couldn't fire Kennedy, could he? But he could get rid of her. That's what he did. Okay, that's what they did. Could not find somebody to replace Kathy. Okay, because I think the guy that I called it, I know I'm going to be right about this. John Lasseter was going to be moved to Lucasfilm. And Kennedy lost her shit. She found out and set him up. Okay, I don't give a flying fuck what anybody says. I know that's true. I know it. So we got stuck with her for another 3 years. Gina Carano shows up. The Mandalorian is a success. Kathleen Kennedy had nothing to do with it. Gina Carano stupidly started mouthing off on Twitter. The rest is history. But back in 2018, before we knew Carrie Hart was on the fast train out, people were complaining about her, just like we have been complaining about LaTondra Newton and LaToya Ravenel and Carmen Smith, or whatever her name is, and all these other disgusting people, right? Here's the deal. If Peter Rice leaves Disney and goes to Warner Brothers to work for David Zaslav, there's no one to protect any of these people. Okay? Now, I predict that what's going to happen here is this. You're going to have budgets cut. You're going to have programs that they started to disappear. They're just going to be canceled. And these people are either going to be offered, you can move to a different division and actually work for a living, or you can leave. Okay? That's what's going to happen. Okay? I look, they have lost, they were almost up to $150 a share. They're climbing back up to, they were up at, it wasn't, guys, I think it was last summer, they were close to $200 a share. They were almost up to 150 a share when this stuff started. They're back to $135. That's a lot. That's billions and billions lost. Okay? It's not Chapek's fault. He was trying to do the right thing. Okay? He's got a problem with some of the board of directors. They have to go. And he's got a problem with employees. And the only people that can come in and say no more of this shit are the shareholders. Okay? Those are the people that are really, those are the ones. And seeing Gerard Baker post that scathing commentary on what's going on at Disney, it's absolute chaos, is basically the voice of Rupert Murdoch. Okay? So what I think is the shareholders will come in and say no more of this shit. Okay? And then and tell Chapek, do whatever you have to get rid of these people. Okay? I don't know if they did or not, Dave. But this is one of those things where it's just going to be a wait and see. But remember, somebody looked on the Lucasfilm website one day and saw Carrie Hart was missing. You do the math, right? You do the math. So let's talk about Zaslav. So David Zaslav walks in today. It's literally his first day as CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery. And it's very interesting to me because, again, I talked about Ann Sarnoff yesterday. The fact that she was so easily dumped proves to me that it's not necessarily the fact that these people are protected by the club. It's who comes in, who's unafraid to take them out. Okay. Zaslav's not part of that club. They don't know anything about him. All right. They don't. So she's gone. All right. Big ramifications for other executives all across Hollywood. New boss walks in, he can fire your ass anytime he wants. All right. Now, we know now, pretty sure that Ezra Miller has been fired. And then the Amber Heard thing. All right, well, I'll talk a little bit about Will Smith too. And then I'll talk about a rumor that Star Wars Mag, Mrs. Mike Zero, put out there. I'm going to have to poo-poo it. Here's the deal. You're right, Dave. It does. It's not a cliche. It's not. It's real. I mean, think about cliches that they're based on truth. The Amber Heard trial is going to start this month, like in a few days. We've got people lined up to testify that did not want to testify. Warner Brothers is testifying. She dragged Aquaman into this. Elon Musk is testifying. And the one I'm really going to watch, because it's going to be on YouTube so you can watch it. The one I'm going to watch very closely, all right, is Brian Lord. Who's Brian Lord? Well, if the LGBTQ community in Hollywood wanted an emperor, a king, it's him. Okay? Yes. He's Carrie Fisher's baby daddy. He's Billy's dad. Sadly. I mean, at least we're told that. And the guy is very, 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 he wields a lot of power. Okay? A lot of power. And I think so. I'm not sure. And who knows what they're going to say, what's going to happen, who's going to do what and why. But I want you guys to watch because this is going to have ramifications, again, all over Hollywood, just like the Ann Sarnoff firing. So watch that, right? Do I predict Brian Lord gets his life ruined? I don't know. Depends on what he did, what he helped Amber with. Okay. Hollywood is very easily embarrassed. Okay. All right, let's go back in history. The reason why people like Louis B. Mayer, Jack Warner, etc., hired people like that were called fixers is because the actors and directors would do stupid fucking things, get themselves into trouble, and need help getting them out. Okay? And, yeah, he does. And a lot of the stuff that we're seeing with the JD Amber Heard thing and, Ezra Miller, we would never have heard of. They would have been able to cover it up. They can't do it anymore. They can't. And this Brian Lord stuff, for a long, long time, and this is before Corey Feldman opened up his mouth about what they did. Those were the British courts, right, girl? For a long, long time, the Hollywood had a secret sort of fellowship of predators and people who were not, you wouldn't leave your kid with, okay, for a long time. That got away with it. I mean, have you ever seen LA Confidential? Watch that movie. Okay. You see a lot of people with power in LA in general doing sordid things, well, with prostitutes. But, when you look at what Bryan Singer did and others and the stuff that's been described about what happened to Corey Haim, they run in packs. I'll give you an example. John Wayne Gacy, y'all know who he is, right? Serial killer in Chicago. Oh yeah, great movie. When he got out of prison in Iowa for sodomy, by the way, he moved to Chicago to an apartment building where he was a superintendent. His mother lived in an apartment there, and he stayed with her. And he was a gregarious sort of kind of guy. Everybody has to like me, la la la. And he would go and meet the neighbors and just start friendships. They would see him out in the back of the apartment house. They would see these big trenches dug into the backyard. Okay. So lots of weird things were going on. Like somebody who lived in the apartment complex, lived in their basement apartments, would sleep one night and heard crashing in these superintendents, like where he housed all of his tools, right? Didn't know what he was doing. Freaked him out. Okay, so eventually Gacy's mom moves out of there, and he buys the house the house that was famous for the crawl space. Now, people that lived around there will never forget seeing him running around in the backyard and after midnight doing things out in the backyard. This was after he had those trenches dug. So they asked the Chicago PD go and investigate it. And they didn't. And they didn't. And they didn't. And they didn't. Finally, they did. They were told where to dig. They were told where to use a side scan sonar. They didn't go anywhere near those places. They wanted to prove there's nothing there so they could leave. Why? I am going to say this. John Wayne Gacy wasn't a loner. None of them are. Okay? They run in packs. They contact each other. They have a network. Okay? So whatever Gacy was doing out in that backyard was probably the same thing he was doing under the floor in the crawl space of his house and in the floor of his garage. Okay? But was it hiding his problem or was it hiding somebody else's? Okay. Look, in my opinion, when you get one weirdo like that, you have more. Okay? They run in bunches. Okay? They contact each other. Look, they trade stuff back and forth on the internet. Okay? So the idea that he was a loner is bullshit. Just like the idea that, one guy in Hollywood, powerful guy who gets pulled over for, either harassing actresses or molesting actresses or molesting little boys is bullshit. There's a reason why they don't want Feldman. I think he's worn out his welcome. There's Open Secret, if you want to watch that documentary. I think it's still on YouTube, but it doesn't get to the surface. Okay, the people that are called out are not the ones that are the worst. Okay, so when I look at that and I think of what could come out in that trial, it's going to be horrific if they challenge certain people testifying like I think they should. Okay, I have a lot of gay friends. All right, it doesn't mean they're predators. Doesn't mean he's a predator, but Hollywood attracts people like that. Okay, and I can't imagine somebody in the position like Brian Lord not using his position to manipulate and coerce. Okay, you know what I mean? All right. There was a reporter whose name I can't remember, he was a very good investigative journalist, and this was before Andrew Breitbart passed away, long before. And he was on Twitter one evening, and he said, "I have proof of something so heinous, and I can't. And he had it, and he was going to put it out there. He didn't know how to. All right. There are times when a good reporter will get something that is so horrible. Okay, let's say like you're living in Geneva, Switzerland. You're a reporter, and a little Jewish guy shows up and gives you film and photographs and written records and says, "Please get this out there. They need to know what they're doing to us." Okay, the Allies need to know what's going on in Germany and in the occupied territories. Okay, you get home, you take the film, you put it in your projector and go, that's the kind of stuff that this guy had. Now, what happened to him, and this is why I have friends say, "I don't want them to come after me." Okay, all right, I don't want them to come after me. What happened to him was he's on the 405? That freeway? His car blew up. He was dead. All of his evidence, poof. Okay. About a year later, Andrew Breitbart posts on Twitter, "I have something so incendiary and I don't know what to do with it." I'm going to make a leap in logic and say he had the same stuff. Okay. I would bet, I would surmise, Alex Marlowe has it. Okay. I would surmise my friend Mike Flynn had it. Okay. They wouldn't give it to John Nolte because John Nolte's a hothead. Okay. What I imagine was given to that reporter and to Andrew was probably stuff about Eyes Wide Shut parties, sex cults. We've seen actresses get arrested for, basically recruiting for sex cults. We've uh, proof of molestation and child abuse, abusing minors in general. And again, there's been really heinous shit that's gone down in Hollywood, since the first studio opened up in Fort Lee, New Jersey, before everything moved out to Hollywood. Okay. And we have to remember that. It's insidious. And when you look at someone like, I hate to say it, Carrie, forgive me, but I gotta say this. What the hell did you see in this guy? Brian Lord, David Geffen, you name the big gays out there. Harvey Weinstein, which honestly, I'm gonna say he made people a lot of money and they loved him, but I don't think he was ever in that crowd. And the reason why was because they cut him off real fast. Okay. And he didn't use what you would surmise that he would use against them. Okay, so I don't think he was in that Eyes Wide Shut crowd. I think he thought he was Louis B. Mayer and could do whatever he wanted. I mean, and there are guys, tons of guys like that in Hollywood. But it's very interesting to me seeing how this may play out. Now, are they going to ask Brian Lord? Probably not. But there is a possibility that he could be embarrassed to the point where the shareholders of, I think it's CAA, that's what he's basically the boss, that they could say, you can leave now. Okay. Right. Endeavor is the up and coming artist agency, and it's run by Ari Emanuel, who hates him, who hates Brian Lord. And if Ari Emanuel gets something like that on Lord, there you go. But again, it's sort of like I've got blackmail on you, you've got blackmail on me, and it's mutually assured destruction. Okay, there you go. But still, there's a possibility we could see something like that. So pay attention. Okay, Hollywood is changing. And a lot of people are really crapping on Bob Chapek, but I'm gonna tell you something. It's not this shit going down is not his fault. His fault is not attacking it the way he should have, which is you're fired. I made a decision, we're not getting involved. No comment. And his decision not to be involved was the right decision, not to get involved. It was the right decision. But again, he's dealing with people since 2017 who are narcissists, who think the world revolves around them, and look at your children as being a fresh, fertile ground to attack. Okay. They get very upset when they're called groomers. Why does that trigger them so much? Okay. Why? Because they are. That's what they're doing. That's fucking exactly what they're doing. So while I don't believe boycotts help the problem, I also think that if you've got kids, until it looks like it's getting better and we can see it, we see these people being forced out, don't let them watch anything from Disney. Okay. Do I say quit? Don't watch don't watch, Disney Plus, don't have a subscription. That's up to you. You know, I would say don't dump your subscription. Don't. But what I would say is don't let your kids watch it. Okay, just have it. Just have it. Don't watch it. All right. Having it and not watching it, you know, there you go. I mean, they can't see that you've streamed a show. And that is pretty important, I think. Now, there haven't been any religious groups. Well, I don't know why she's being quiet. I mean, as a chairman of the board, I suppose it's probably a good thing. But the fact of the matter is that if she's letting Chapek take the brunt, which they probably already decided that, I don't know. Hey, Patrick. But when I look and see what's happening, there's a reason she's been silent. Now, he wouldn't have said no comment if she wasn't comfortable with that. Okay. That's a big deal. Okay. Now, how did it get to him, robotically pretending to apologize in that video? They're waiting. Again, we got to wait and see. But I think what they're doing is they're waiting for something else to go on. They're waiting for cover. But I do wish she'd speak up and say this is not Disney's policy to get involved in local politics. Because look, these people started a firestorm in Florida now. It's like Ron DeSantis wants Disney to kneel before him. Okay. It plays into Chapek's hands too, by the way. These gay activists are literally dancing to his tune now. Okay, as far as I can tell. Anyway, about the sequel trilogy, I think probably they're not going to follow it. There's no money in it. Okay, there's no money in it. All right. And there's a rumor out there, Star Wars Meg farted out of her mouth. I hate her. Where she said Jon Favreau is helming a High Republic show with Jude Law as the lead. I went on to IMDb Pro. I can't find anything. There's more about Land. I mean, Lando's not being made, but at least it's got a thing on IMDb. I don't know what the fuck she's talking about. But again, when someone like that is sure of a rumor, I'm going to tell you something. If you challenge her, it will trigger her. And she will get mad. She will get very sarcastic. And there's nothing like watching a British female turn into a goose squawking. It's hilarious. And that's what they do. That's what they sound like. Yeah, well, look, Star Wars Mag gets a lot of play at other YouTube channels. And again, it's a circle jerk. Everybody, they all pat each other on the back. And aren't we cool? And it's like, yeah, the grammar, yeah, radio rumor. And she doesn't know what she's talking about. But don't challenge her, because she'll start sounding like a Canadian goose. It's like, so as far as I can tell, there's really, I mean, we have to wait for announcements. And again, even announcements, it doesn't have any financial viability at all. Okay. And when you look at it, even the announcements, okay, Kennedy's announcements, all those shows, none of them Hardly any of them are being made. Rogue Squadron, on the shelf. YTD's movie, on the shelf. Lando. Well, at least we have a writer, you know. You know, Rangers of the New Republic, shelved because of Kennedy. On and on and on. And Gina Carano's mouth. It is very interesting to me watching how this is playing out. But again, this is playing against the backdrop of all the rest of the chaos going on at Disney. And I gotta say, watching all this and seeing people react, when you've got black pills saying that Cameron has a point about DeSantis and Chapek probably making a deal, okay? You know, look, Chapek literally needs the backing of the shareholders to move forward on what he does. And he had it till this shit started. And my thing, hey, Cross Element, my thing is this. There aren't enough of these activists, though they seem like they're everywhere because they're allowed at Disney to make a big deal if they're gone. Okay. Again, if Rice leaves, what's his name? Let me look. This guy's name is, I wrote it down. I wrote Todd. No. All right. Peter Rice. If Peter Rice he went to Nottingham University and he does the, Peter Rice, Disney General Entertainment content. Okay. He is, basically, I think he is the only person between Latondra Newton and Bob Chapek. Okay. And if Rice goes to Warner Brothers, which is a possibility, Carmen Smith, Latondra Newton, Io Davis, all the people, the rest of the people, Kari Burke, and a lot of these other people that we saw in that video are gone. Because all they have to do is say there's no need for this program anymore. We are defunding it. And again, I'm going to let you guys go with this. When I worked for the Leadership Institute, my job was basically erased because they could do it with it automatically. They could do it digitally. And it hurt. I mean, I asked my husband, I was a wreck. I didn't know what I was going to do. But I got a job within a week. Okay. So that can happen. Okay. Whoever is keeping that budget, if they go, that budget goes with them. That money, it's a waste of money anyway. So whatever that money that they're spending on it, I mean, example, go watch Valiant Renegade's first video. Yeah, the first or third video, second video of with WDW Pro when he talks about when you walk into Epcot Center, there were these beautiful paintings, museum quality paintings. And Carmen Smith went in and replaced them with, I guess, stills from Soul, the movie Soul. Went from high class to mediocre trash. And you gotta understand, yes, he did do us a favor, but I question his motives. I mean, look, these people think they can take down Disney. Why would you want to? Don't you want to fix what's broken? And the people say, well, we can't. It's just broken and there's nothing we can. Yeah, there is. You know, maybe someone like David Zaslav helped. You know, wake up and find out Rupert Murdoch pulled off a hostile takeover, walked in and fired everybody. That could happen too. And I could see him doing that. Okay? This is not out of the realm of possibility. All right. You get a bunch of wild cowboys who want their money, and they'll get it one way or another. But the idea that these whiny, complaining, bitchy conservatives like Benny Arthur Johnson, who, God, every time I look at his videos, he tries so hard to be genuine. Okay, it's like, look, fuck, dude, whatever. They're not putting it out there to inform you, and they're not giving you they're not informing you on what the video is about, even. Okay, they're not giving you an insightful reaction to it. They are emoting, they are projecting, they are just reacting without any intellectual backing. Okay, and they expect you to do the same thing. It's just like YouTube. That's all it is. Okay? They're looking for rage porn clicks. All right, they have to sell ads. Okay? So remember that. Okay. Chris Rufo did a great job. But I look at his motivation, I look at what he said in his tweet, and I'm like, do realize that this guy did not want to do this? Look at him. Does he look happy? No, he probably wants to brain every one of these assholes. But he can't yet. Okay? So I gotta go. And I want to tell you guys if something else happens, I'll be back. But I'm gonna go and change and I'm gonna go downstairs and do upper body. And I'll see you around the galaxy. Behave, be well, and let not your heart be troubled. Okay? And as Patrick Musan said, there haven't been any church groups, and I'm going to tell you this. Maybe I'll come on later and talk about why conservatives need to just let this be about parents protecting their kids. Shut the fuck up. Okay? The only ideology we should be talking about are the morons in the Zoom call. Okay? That's all we should be talking about. If you're a conservative, you're putting yourself on the opposite end and you're screaming back. And to me, it's all noise. Okay, so stop it. Okay? Steph, signing out. I'll see you around the